Okay, welcome back to biology, guys. It's been a while. I've got you now for the next 10 days, something like that. Anybody know what it says in the schedule? Anyway, it's about 10 days. So, here, let me throw up what we got left in the course so you can actually see what it looks like. Assuming this is gonna load. Come on. Come on. Work? Okay, there we go. There we go. So believe it or not, we're halfway through the course. Whew, today's the 50% mark. If you click on the content tab, you can see what we've covered so far and what we've still got to go. So far we've done the diversity unit, we've done the genetics unit. Today we're going to do our second day of the animals structure and function unit. So hopefully from before the break you guys remember what we did on day 10, which was all about the digestive system. We talked about all the structures of the digestive system and what they do. We talked a little bit in general about metabolism, that those are macromolecules or macronutrients, that is proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. What they are when they're built up into these big molecules, what happens when you break them down into small molecules. And then we went through some enzyme stuff and talked about what enzymes do that breaking down from big molecules to small molecules, what those molecules are called, what those enzymes are called, and where those enzymes are found. That's a lot. That's a big day. So normally we take 4 days to go over all of that stuff, but just due to our compressed schedule, we did it in 1 day, which is pretty crazy. So at the beginning of today, I highly recommend that before you get started with today's stuff, at the very least, watch this little digestive system review video, okay? It gives you a basic overview of the digestive system and what all the parts do. You definitely need that to know that much. Preferably, it would be good if you had a good working knowledge of which enzymes come from where and what gets digested in each part of the system, okay? I realize that it has been 2 weeks now since the last time you looked at it. This is a really terrible way to run a class like this because you don't want to take 2 weeks in between never even looking at this stuff, which is really tough. But it is what it is. But that's what's ended up happening here. So I would do a quick review of your notes from the last day. You're going to want to look over that stuff. In the spirit of that, we're going to do like a little online lab activity today. So we haven't actually used, I don't think so. We haven't used the Explore Learning account thing yet. I don't think so. Any online labs? Digital labs? No? Okay, so hopefully you signed up for an account on the first day. The instructions, if you're looking for them, are way back in like the day 1 stuff. Let me go back here. Go all the way back to day 1, the introduction, day 1, content from the live stream. When you scroll down, there's a little thing on here that says sign up for explorelearning.com. If you click on that, there's like an instruction sheet for signing up for this class. So if you don't have an account already, you're gonna need that account for today. So we should do that first. Then you're going to actually do a lab. So there is a Google Doc right here. This is back on the day 11 stuff. And you're going to make a copy of that Google Doc. Okay, that's sort of like the lab worksheet, I guess you could think of it as. It walks you through the lab activity step by step. Basically, it says, look at this thing. It might ask you a question about it, which you're going to answer. And then do this. And then what does this say? What does this look like? So the purpose of this lab is that, first of all, you're going to construct a functioning digestive system. It gives you all the components. You're going to build them in order. And then it goes through with some food, and it shows you how the food gets digested in the system. And then it's going to allow you to reorganize the system or remove components of the system and then make some predictions about how that will change the digestion of that stuff. So for example, where is the first place, I don't know if anyone is going to remember this stuff, I realize it was so long ago, but where's the first place that protein starts getting digested? Anybody remember? Where's the first location? You eat some protein. Where's the first location where it's going to start getting broken down? Chemically. Physically, it would be in your mouth. Like mechanically, you chew it, obviously. But nobody remembers this. That's okay. So the first place where protein gets broken down is in the stomach. The acid in your stomach is going to denature it. So it's going to unfold the long polypeptides. And then there's an enzyme in your stomach called pepsin, which takes that long polypeptide and chops it into shorter little chains, short polypeptides. Okay, that's the first place. So in the lab, it gets you to, I think, at some point, remove the stomach from the system. So if you remove the stomach from the system and run it, you don't do that first step. You don't denature the proteins and you don't cut long polypeptides into short polypeptides. So what ends up happening then is that you don't, that all the other enzymes after that in line, which take the short polypeptides and cut them into dipeptides and dipeptides into amino acids, that's in the small intestine, none of those can operate any longer because they have no substrate, no stuff to work on. And so the product of that is you don't absorb any protein. You don't absorb any amino acids from your diet. Okay, and then it actually shows that. So what does that look like? What happens to the waste products on the way out? What do the waste products look like? And this process seems like it's kind of silly, like, oh, we eliminate the stomach, like, and then we look at what happens. We eliminate, small intestine and we look at what happens. But this is exactly what a medical diagnostic is. So often in a medical diagnostic, especially for digestive problems, you evaluate what's coming out the other end. You look at it and say, oh, is this full of undigested sugar? Okay, well, what parts of the system are not working correctly if it's full of undigested sugar? And that can be used to diagnose your digestive problems. This is a diagnostic process, okay? So it's not just like a frivolous activity. This is the exact process that you use to like diagnostically assess somebody's digestive system from a medical perspective. So anyway, this activity is going to walk you through, and hopefully at the end of this, it will help cement your knowledge of which enzymes are operating where and what's getting broken down at which part of the system, okay? This lab is heavily relying on the idea that you have already learned this stuff. So that's what I mean when I say you might want to do a quick review of your notes first, but it does kind of walk you through the process a little bit and give you some background with each part. So it was meant to be a review, but it's not the ideal circumstances for a review because of the 2-week break. But anyway, that's what we've got. So do that lab activity first. According to the website, this lab activity takes 2 hours, okay? I've done it. It doesn't take me 2 hours. I'm very familiar with all the content in here, so I can't use that as a good basis here. But I do feel like if I didn't know this content very well, that it probably would take me more than 2 hours. So I'm not 100% certain that I have the right amount of content in this day. So I've set it up for taking 2 hours. It may take some of you 3 hours. So what I'm going to do towards the end of today is kind of get an assessment for where people are. And if people are like, I'm nowhere near done this stuff, we might bump some of this stuff to the next day. I just want to give people a heads up on that so that you're not feeling super overwhelmed with this. It didn't take me 2 hours to do this lab activity, but that's not really a fair assessment. So let's just see where we are, okay? I realize that there's a 2-week break. I'm not trying to hit people over the head their first day back. But it is meant to be a review. So that's the first part. That's what you're working on in Learning Block 1. You're completing this lab activity. The second part, oh, and by the way, as you're going through there, if you're ever stuck on any part of the lab activity, you're like, I don't understand what this is asking, I don't know what this, please just ask, okay? I'm here to assist you with these things. You're not on your own or anything. Same thing for the people at home. Just post something in the chat, okay? And I'd be happy. I can even jump into a Google Meet or something to answer questions if necessary. So if you're stuck, just let me know. And then lastly, at the end of it, there's a little quiz underneath the gizmo. Try it. Try the quiz, okay? It's just a little multiple choice quiz similar to the exit quizzes that we've done previously. And it's just like an assessment of did you understand the stuff from the lab. If you do the exit quiz and you're like, yeah, I get this. I get what all these pieces do and I get what I'm supposed to get out of this. Awesome. If not, it may be a signal for you to go back and look over things again, okay? Or maybe get some help from me. Please use that opportunity. Okay, Learning Block 2. This is after the break. I'll just let you know what we're doing. I will come back after learning block 2 as well, and we'll talk about this again briefly, but for the people at home. But there is, where's this? So I tried to make like the mental component of this a little less, okay, because the lab is quite thinky. So this part is a video, okay, the second half here. Hopefully you guys have headphones. Also for the lab, because the lab has a lot of, for some reason they've added sound effects to this digestive system. It makes a lot of sounds as the food goes through. So you might want to mute it or use some headphones. Such weird digestive sounds. But you're going to want headphones for the video. The second half of today, we're going to start getting into the respiratory system. So we're going to study 3 systems in detail in this unit. Digestive, we've already pretty much covered. Respiratory system is the second. So today is just going to be like sort of an easy introduction to the respiratory system. Hopefully, we'll see how far we get. And then tomorrow, we're going to get into more detail here with the structures and functions of the respiratory system. On Monday, we're going to get into the circulatory system. So we're going to talk about what types of blood vessels do you have, how does blood flow work, how do you regulate blood flow, that kind of stuff. And then Tuesday of next week, we're going to start getting into the sort of the final project of this unit. It's so crazy, like what a fast turnaround. But then we're going to start talking about a project for the unit. And we might do a dissection on Tuesday. I'm still figuring out the mechanics of that. You guys are still with me next Tuesday, right? So this will be block A in here. We're probably going to do a fetal pig dissection. So I'm going to do it up here because I don't have enough pigs for every person and we can't share equipment. But I'll project it. And I'm going to go through these systems that we were just talking about here, digestive, respiratory, and circulatory in the pig. So we're going to go through, identify all the different organs. It basically looks exactly like your parts, except just a miniature version. They're in the same place. They look the same. They're just tiny. Okay, so we're going to do that next Tuesday. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So you watch this video. There's a worksheet that goes along with it. It's up there. Last week, some people were having some problems with Cami. It like went down a couple of days last week. I left it as a Google Doc there as well if you don't want to use Cami if Cami isn't working. I'm hoping that that's going to get fixed because I use it a lot, but we'll see. So it's like I said, there's a worksheet that goes along with that. There's a little bit of a reading from the textbook, so it's page 438 to 439. Okay, that's a short reading. It's a little bit of a structural review of the respiratory system, which we're going to go into more detail tomorrow. There's an awesome video here. I love this video that basically talks about, it's a Kurzgesagt video, a lot of these are excellent, that talks in general about how living things work in terms of metabolism. So how does your metabolism take energy and allow you to be alive? Okay. This is a great video because it's what connects all 3 of these systems together. Digestive, respiratory, and circulatory. Essentially, they're all working together to get respiration going inside of your cells. Digestion for the fuel, and respiratory and circulatory for the oxygen component, okay? And so this is going to talk a little bit about what you actually do with that oxygen. What's the purpose of transporting it to your cells? How does that process work? In a simplified way, but it is an excellent overview of how that works. And we're going to get into more detail with this tomorrow when we talk about the biochemical component of respiration. What are you doing with the oxygen that you're taking in and why do you have to breathe? Okay, so it's a little video. I think it's only 5 minutes long, but it's an excellent, excellent overview of that topic. It's better than any lesson I've ever given on it. So I highly recommend this video. Once you're done all that, there's a little exit quiz. It's 5 marks. And it just is just basic questions about the respiratory system and the little chapter that you've read in the textbook, okay? Again, if you're going over that exit quiz and you're like, ugh, I don't get this, I don't know what's happening here in this quiz, let's chat, all right? I'd be happy to go over any of this stuff with you. Let's see how the lab goes. I'm guessing, this is just a guess, that you'll get the lab done, hopefully. I mean, you got to get it done today for sure. But then you might watch this video and then not have time to do the reading and this little second video. I'm thinking that's the timing in terms of how things are going to work out today. But let's see. I don't want to preempt that. Maybe the lab will be faster for you than I'm predicting. So that's what we're going to work on. I will come back for the people at home at the beginning of the second block. but please let me know if you have any questions while you're working on the lab, okay? So this is a less talky day from me. Take advantage of it, because unfortunately there's going to be a more talky day tomorrow where we're going to discuss the respiratory system together. So let me know if you need anything, okay? Same thing for the people at home. Hey guys, I'm just going to pop back into the stream for 2 seconds right now and just quickly remind everybody. Wait, actually, can I survey people in here? How are you guys doing with the lab? Are you like halfway through, or like where would you say you are approximately? I'm trying to get a feel. Like what, sir? Okay, okay. Let me just quickly see where that is. It's I don't have it memorized. Lymphatic vessels. Is that in activity B? Which activity is that in?
Activity C.
Activity C. Okay. Well, that's actually most of the way through, I think. Okay. So I'm going to say that we're pretty much on track still to finishing everything today. If you finish the lab in like the next 30 or 40 minutes, you're probably still on track to finish everything. So I'll check in again in a minute. If for some reason, guys, we're like way behind and we're not like gonna make it, I will post something in the chat, okay, about bumping some stuff to the next day. But I think we're actually on track at this point. If you're about halfway done, you're probably fine. So half to 3/4 or whatever done at this point. I know some people are saying that they're done, so that's cool. So I think I'm gonna leave things the way they are for the moment. But I'm going to leave the chat open. Again, if you have any questions as you're going through here, just let me know. Could I please just get the people at home really quick to just let me know if they're here? Just, oh, my glasses are fogging up here. If you are present here, let me know. They make me do my in-class attendance twice a day too, but that doesn't really make sense because you're not going to go anywhere. It's not like you're leaving, so I don't...
Making sure that you don't leave people on the wall.
I guess to make sure no one falls off and disappears. Thanks, guys. Okay, I think we didn't lose anyone in here. No. If we did, they're in the rain, so. You guys that are in here, you guys can just keep working. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. If you're showing up a second late here, just don't forget to, you can add it in the chat if you're coming back from your break or whatever, if you're taking your break at home. And don't be afraid to type in something and stuff in there if you need anything. All right? Oh, Deanna. I was looking for you. There we go.